Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's me, Megan Holiday, and I hope that you are managing to stay safe and somewhat sane during this time. I know it's hard, and I know that I miss you so much. I just want to say really quick that the partnership between Entercom and HD Radio has been so fantastic over the last 3 to 4 years. So it really is just a natural progression and transition going into our DTS sound space now. They're actually a sister brand of HD Radio, and they've been an audio pioneer for over 25 years with their dedication to sensational in the world of entertainment. So HD Radio, they still remain as strong as ever as a key partner in broadcast distribution. And let me tell you something, I've got a pair of DTS speakers in my living room and they sound amazing. So I'm really excited about this partnership. All right, so here's the deal. I'm super excited that we have Foster the People today. We have a great conversation coming up with Mark Foster and myself.
Hello. How are you? I'm good.
So Foster the People, you guys are the first ones. We have a new sponsor for our sound space, so the DTS sound space, and we've sent you some speakers. So be on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those look good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so before we get to talking, we're going to jump into your performance, 2 songs from you guys playing at Acoustic Christmas in 2017. So let's do that.
All right, sounds good. Let's jump in.
I see you and me hanging on the empty switch. I'm a Superman and it's my show. Gonna kick my shoes. I'm gonna kick until I need new shoes. Yeah, yeah. I said don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. Stop giving me. Stop, don't stop, don't stop giving me things. I'm gonna show 'em how I can ride. 1, 2, 3, close your eyes and count to 4. I'd like to hide behind my bedroom door. Rams on walls, I colored on them all dark till I've broken every law. Yeah, yeah, I said don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, stop giving me. Stop, don't stop, don't stop giving me things. Stop, don't stop, don't stop, having a body. Stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. This is off our new record, Sacred Hearts Club. This song's called Sit Next to Me. Now say it with me. It's over, I'm circling this vault, just got me praying, man, this hunger, feeling something rotten. Last time I saw you, said what's up and pushed right through. Then I tried to catch you, but we're always on the move, and now it's over, we're sober, symptoms of the culture, and the night ain't getting younger. Last calls around the corner, feeling kinda tilted, and I'm pouring out the truth, just fading out these talkers, cause now all I want is you. I'm saying, come over here and sit next to me, and see where things go naturally. Just say the word and I'll want to see. Just come over here and sit next to me. I'll take you well, I'm flooding my intention, got your man outlined in chalk. It's a midnight intervention, got no plans to make it stop. Last time I saw you, said you wanna keep it light, but I'm here to tell you I'm not trying to change your mind. It's alright. Ooh, it's alright. Ooh, yeah, come over here and sit next to me. We can see where things go naturally. Just say the word and I'll part the sea. Just come over here and sit next to me. I'll take you it's alright. Yeah, it's alright. Yeah, it's alright. So come over here and sit next to me. We can see the things go naturally. Just say the word and I'll part the sea. Just come over here and sit next to me. It's alright. Thank you. For everybody who's in a position of power that has abused it, goes out to you. Why are we so far from love? Chased by badges, ducking lies, push the dagger when it's right. Mashallah, inshallah, Mikasa, Estuya, ghosting like I'm Daniel Johnston and I'm locked up in the basement with singing lines and satin tweets and real lines as facelift. The criminals are laughing with the empty, toothless faces. We melted our gold to recommence our idol worship. We all pretend one day we'll be the greatest to the Gatsby's. Round mouth with rabies and loyal like Sid and Nancy. Hey man, get away from me. Thank you, LA. Thank you, Forum. Thank you, KROQ. We'll see you next year.
So that was the 2017 performance at Almost Acoustic Christmas with Foster the People. And I'm Megan Holiday here with Mark Foster. So dude, just how have you been holding up during all this?
It's interesting, you know. It's actually it's been so long now that I feel like there's been like 4 different seasons of COVID. Like when it started, it was like, oh wow, okay, great. Like got a couple weeks off, get to relax, get to like catch up on TV. You know, like I got married in December. My wife came back from New York. She was working, so we got to be together, kind of as like newlywed and just relax and ordering food and like. And then after 3 weeks, it was like, okay, let's start doing stuff. Like kind of started to get a little stir crazy, and then I got into woodworking.
Whoa.
And started building things around the house and painting interior rooms and like gardening, and built like a vegetable garden. And then that phase kind of like, and then I became a master woodworker, and now I'm not interested in it anymore. And now I'm like working on a new record. I wrote a script and vacillated between being like super depressed that our democracy is crumbling, and then being like, well, there's nothing I can really do. I should just be an artist and like write escapism, because that's what I do best, and that's what people need more than anything right now. So I've gone through every single facet of this thing and trying to figure out where I fit into all of it. And at the end of the day, it's kind of like, okay, well, it's just, you know, take a deep breath. It's a beautiful day. Do what I can.
Yeah.
Let go of it.
I love that. Wow. You really run the gamut of just, you know, you've had like a whole new career with your woodworking. Now you know you have a fallback. Not that you're ever going to need it.
I've lived a whole life within COVID quarantine.
What's the coolest thing you built with woodworking?
The hardest thing, okay. Well, I built these really, it's so nerdy, but I built a like floating bookshelf but it's really long. It's like 8 feet long with a mitered corner that basically turns and then continues down this other wall. But then I've been getting into shishugibon, which is kind of like it's like a Japanese wood burning technique, which like our house, kind of like the inspiration for our house is Japanese cowboy because it's kind of this ranch style house, but it's like shugibon. There's a lot of shugibon and kind of like just leaning into that, and so I wanted to learn how to do it myself. So I got all the tools like big blowtorch and propane, and like you use like boiled linseed oil to like finish it, and it's a whole process, but there's something really meditative about it. So that was, yeah, doing a float like large, heavy floating bookshelves was actually way harder than I thought it was going to be, because it has to be so precise.
Oh my God. See, this is the content we need for you to be putting on Instagram. With like a blowtorch, and like
All right.
building stuff.
True.
But you've been putting out so much great music throughout the whole quarantine. My personal favorite is "It's Okay to Be Human." I think
Thank you.
that's an important song. It's just it was like written while in the quarantine, and it's just kind of an anthem of like we're gonna be okay. Keep searching, keep moving forward. And so it's also a very like Beach Boys moment for me. I just, your music always reminds me of the Beach Boys, and I don't really know what that is, but I love it so much. So maybe just what was the inspiration for that song?
Well, first of all, the Beach Boys are probably going to filter out of everything I make, whether I intend to or not, because that's like, they've been my favorite band since I was 6 years old. And so it's kind of, it was my first kind of musical journey of like absorbing an entire artist when I was a kid, like I was obsessed with them. And so it's just in there. I have like full on Napoleon syndrome right now. I've never had this in Zoom right now. Let me raise my chair up because I feel like I'm like so much shorter than you.
No.
I'm like when you're talking to somebody like on the street, like in real life, and you're like looking up, and you're like, you want to stand up on a sidewalk, like,
You look great.
wait, okay, this is okay. Well, you know what? It's like it's exciting to get kind of dressed up.
Right?
That's something to get dressed up for. This is me dressed up, a wrinkly button down shirt. Um,
Great. I know, I got to put on a dress today. I love
You look great. You look fantastic. So it's okay to be human. Sorry, I totally spun out on the question.
just, I guess, just where did that moment come from?
Uh, yeah, in the beginning when this all happened, we were supposed to be on tour. We were supposed to go on tour, and we were in rehearsals, which is actually kind of an ordeal for us because Mark Pontius, our drummer, lives in Nashville, and so he has to fly out, and we, put him up in a hotel and basically have our crew fly in, and like everybody sets up to go get ready for a tour. And so it's intensive, like the week or 2 weeks of rehearsals. So we were intensely rehearsing, getting ready to head to Mexico, and then that was going to kick off like we had a whole like a European tour booked, and then we had like this big fall tour in the U.S. We were going to be gone the whole year, and so COVID happened. Everything got canceled. Like I think quarantine, kind of all that stuff started to go down like 2 days before we were supposed to fly out, and so and then all the tours got canceled. And so it was like just this moment, just this life-changing moment of being like, oh my God, this is real. This is really happening. I've never seen anything like this in my life. I've only read about it in dystopian fiction, and so I wrote an op-ed. I wrote a piece about the whole thing and just kind of put it online. And then after that, I felt like, I don't know, I got hit by that song, and it was just a very, I don't know, sometimes when I get hit by something that's kind of, I don't know, I was really just moved, I was moved by the humanity of it all because I find that the whole world and the world that we're living in right now is politicizing everything, and but not everything should be politicized. Like nothing, not everything's political.
Yeah.
You know, like the
Very
truth is
you know?
people are hurting, people are dying, people are losing their jobs, their ability to provide for their family. People are getting kicked out of their places or can't pay their rent or are getting like, you know, underwater on their credit card. Like there's just so many different ways people are being affected by this thing, and it kind of all hit me, and just like my heart was open. And I don't know, I think like, yeah, the it's okay to be human, just that feeling, that line, that lyric even, I just felt like was something I wanted to say. And that
Yeah.
kind of informed the spirit of the song.
It's so beautiful, and it's really comforting, you know, to I think to a lot of people during this time. And I just really appreciate it. I just appreciate it, you know. So how do you feel like I feel like you have this ability to take really serious subject matter and infuse it in a pop song. So, you know, from like pumped up kicks to like the things we do, you know, taking very serious stuff and putting it into a song. So how do you feel like, or do you even feel like your process of songwriting, has it changed at all from the beginning to now?
It's a good question. No, I actually don't think my process has changed that much. You know, on Supermodel, on our second record, I experimented with my process, which was writing the lyrics more or less first, and then figuring out how to kind of get what I want to say in a song, which I feel like, and that's something that I'll go back to, and I'll experiment between that and the way that the way that I naturally write. The way that I naturally write is I start the music first. I'll program a drum beat, or like Isom or Mark will send me some kind of a drum kind of vibe. I get really inspired by drums, and so a good drum beat like will trigger 1,000 melodies, and I'll pick which direction I want to go. But it'll just be kind of like a eureka moment when I hear a good drum beat. And so whether I pick up bass or piano or organ or guitar, whatever next, I'll respond to that drum beat. But really, that whole thing is just setting up a place, a launching point. It's like a launching pad. It's like a SpaceX, like, okay, like for the vocal. And and then I turn on the microphone. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what melody is going to come out. I like to keep it that way because what I'm really trying to do is get into a meditative space to where I turn off the self-critic inside, and I try to kind of be like a channel and just kind of see what comes through. And in that moment, that's where a lot of the like stuff that it exceeds something that I would write if I went in with just my pen, or if I went in with just an idea. Then I'm almost my own limitation. But when I do it that way, there's things that come in from all over the place that I never really would have thought of myself, which is kind of a strange thing to say out loud because it's obviously coming through me. But in that moment, when that actually clicks, and when like God or the universe or that idea or that energy comes into the room, I mean, I call it God, but people have, you know, different words for different things. But it's almost like I'm observing it.
Yeah.
And that's the most beautiful feeling. Like it's like this rush. A lot of times I'll be crying when I'm singing, even if it's like a super joyful song. It's just like if it's like when you see a movie and you get moved by something, and it's not a sad thing, but you tear up because it's so beautiful. And it's like, where does that come from? And like, how does that hit you out of nowhere? And I think that it's like you're feeling the authenticity in something. You're like, I feel like the truth, you get certain art can bring you so close to the truth that it strips away like everything else, and you cry from the power of the beauty, because truth is love. Those two things are like right next to each other. And so it's like, that's what I'm looking for. So the whole thing like is just building this launching pad, and that's how I still write. That's how I wrote Torches. That's how I write now. You know, I'm just trying to create an environment for that thing to come in the room and make a song special.
Oh my God.
Most of the time it doesn't, by the way. You know, most of the time I get in the studio and I show up and I go through those motions, I go through what I think that I can do, like that process to try to create this, to be open and to be a vessel, and then you know, usually after a couple hours I'm like, okay, like it didn't, you know, nothing.
Yeah, we
Hey,
can't.
you listening?
I know, but we can't.
You didn't come today. You left me hanging there. And then I'll just kind of, you know, but then that 1 out of 10 or 20 times it comes and it makes it all worth it. And
Because then it wouldn't be, I think it wouldn't be special. If it happened all the time, it wouldn't be as beautiful and we wouldn't be as moved, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or I would just be like the greatest, most prolific artist of all time.
Yeah, seriously. Then you'd just be Prince or Bowie.
Yeah, why did it happen for them so often?
So I would want to congratulate you on your marriage, and I love your wife so much, Julia Garner, incredible actress. So I imagine that, you know, with a song like Lamb's Wool, to me, it sounds like, you know, a love song. So has, you know, your experience of falling in love and being married, like, really affected your songwriting as well?
It has actually. I have a number of songs that I'm finishing right now that are coming out soon that are love songs, you know, written inspired by or for Julia. Um, yeah, it's definitely informed my music, and I've been working on a record, like a full length, and a lot of it's like a love record, which I think that it's like it's really special. Because love has always been like such a, it's that kind of that one thing that like if you run out of things to say as a writer, or if I'm like trying to write something, I'm like, I don't really know what to write a song about. Like love is this like infinite well that I can always dip into because there's so many different angles I can write about love from. And in the previous 10 years, I think there were a lot of songs. I mean, on Torches, like I Would Do Anything for You, you know, is a love song. There's Sit Next to Me is a love song in a sense, you know, but it's a different angle on it. But I think like in those 10 years, it was kind of more of like desiring love and wanting to be loved, and also maybe feeling like alone, like being like, well, like what would it feel like to be loved? Like it was kind of like that searching, that yearning for love, and now it's like writing from a place of being loved and about that love and what that love looks like and what that love feels like and where I want that love to grow to. And so it's a really interesting thing, and I'm excited to put those songs out because they're actually I've been in a really special place.
Yeah. Do you think that's going to happen next year or
Sooner.
sooner? Yay.
Yeah, sooner. We're working on finishing up an EP right now and hoping to put that out soon, like in like a month or in the next month or two.
Awesome.
Which I call it an EP, but it's more than like 3 songs, you know. It's like somewhere between an EP and a full. I don't even really know what a full length is anymore. My favorite length of a record like came out like when was that? 2 years ago, a year or two ago was Pusha T like Daytona, which had like 7 songs on it, and I was like, this is perfect. I can listen to the whole thing from front to back. It tells a story. It feels like a fully nutritious, like nutritional meal. I'm like, okay, like I feel like I listened to a record. I didn't get bored, and it was like. But yeah, I don't know.
The cool thing now is that there's kind of no rules. Like you can do your own thing, and if you want to just put out singles, you can do that. You know, however long you want to make, you can do a series of EPs. It's like, and you guys are you independent right now?
We're independent. We're newly
Woo!
independent.
That's right, baby.
Thank you. Yeah, we completed our deal with Columbia, and you know, I think it's one of these like kind of moments in time that you wait for as an artist. which can be kind of scary because you don't have the safety net of like of a big label behind you, like helping with certain things. But at the same time, the artist inside of me is super excited because there's something really punk about it, and like it reawakened the DIY kind of nature of what you have to be in order to even get a record deal. It's all DIY, and it's all like, what do we do? Like, you have to manage yourself. You have to come out, well, we're not managing ourselves. We're still with the same manager we've been with since the beginning, Brett Williams. But, yeah, it's reawakened that creative process of just like, okay, like we're building this. Let's build it again. Let's pick up the hammers and. Yeah.
And the woodworking tool.
Sorry, everything that I talk about now, there's just going to be a woodworking metaphor. I'm just going to like just work it in.
Well, you've been writing such incredible songs. I've been such a fan of yours. I remember the first time I met you was up in San Francisco. You guys played Rickshaw Stop for Pop Scene up there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You and I were having a conversation outside, and I remember you were telling me like, yeah, we got to put this record out. We don't have like all the songs yet. And I was like, this is going to be the first and last time I ever see this band in a small club, and I just love you guys. Like, you're one of my favorite bands. You're such a great songwriter. So the last thing I want to ask you is, we're celebrating 100 years of radio. So what has the impact of radio been for you in your career?
Yeah, no, it's funny because I would take that back to the Beach Boys again, in the beginning, because I remember it like one of the most vivid memories of anything in my entire life was when I was 6 years old, driving in the car to like Little League practice, listening to Magic 105.7 in Cleveland, where I grew up, which was like played like 50s and 60s music, and I Get Around came on the radio, and I'd never heard the Beach Boys before. And I remember looking at my mom, like I remember a light bulb. I just remember the feeling and just like my whole body just lighting up, saying, "Who is this?" And she told me, and that was like a pivotal moment in my life that changed things. That happened again later when I heard Dookie for the first time. That kind of that was another record that was like when I heard When I Come Around. Seeing a theme here, actually. I Get Around, When I Come Around. But and then it's just certain moments. There's radio has definitely kind of introduced me to things that changed the course of my taste and what I like, and then for our band, radio was the megaphone that really kind of pumped up kicks around the world. You guys, I remember hearing it the first time KROQ played it. I remember we were in rehearsal all together, and we paused because we knew it was going to come on at a certain time, and we like all stopped playing and we turned up the radio and we all listened to it together, and that was a big moment. And since then, I remember walking through on one of our first European tours. We were playing in Denmark, and we were in Christiania, that like hippie kind of political commune that's right in the middle of the city. It's like this kind of like really strange place where people have fought over it. Dylan's protested for it for years. I remember walking through there when and Pumped Up Kicks was playing through a boombox on the radio in Denmark, and I remember just kind of like, and nobody knew who I was, and it was kind of like everybody's selling weed and all these things. Christiana is like this weird hippie thing, It was like kind of sketchy, like pit bulls and like Hell's Angels, with like chains and stuff. And I mean, it's definitely something worth seeing. But I remember hearing that on the radio, and I'm like, all the way here, like in Christian, I was like, okay, wow, like my life is different. So radio definitely changed my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, what a moment to, you had that thing you do moment where you guys all got to, hear your song on the radio together. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, I'm super excited just to hear more music and for this EP to come out. And I really appreciate you just taking the time to chat with me today.
Always a pleasure. So good seeing you. Thank you so much.
You too.
And, we'll see you later.
See you post-COVID sometime.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye.
All right, take it easy.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me, Megan Holiday, and the awesome Mark Foster of Foster the People. And also big thanks to DTS. They're the new sponsor for our sound space. Yeah. And we will check you again next Sunday, 6 p.m. Sending you so much love, and I hope you're taking care of yourselves. Thank you for watching. Bye.